here providing live severe weather coverage. Sorry, I was at an appointment that is required. So I apologize for not posting any updates. But I am here now, and we have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, everyone. So welcome in. And so you guys are just tuning in. We are covering the severe thunderstorm warnings that we do have in our area. Let's just get straight to the point here. So we got one that's going right into the New Haven, well, right towards the Washington area, actually. And then we have the second severe thunderstorm warning that's going through St. Peter's and St. Charles right now. So none of these are warned for tornado possible. They're all warned mainly for 60-mile-per-hour winds. So basically, this storm up here near the O'Fallon and the St. Charles area has ran into a better environment according to the National Weather Service here. So better environment is why they issued the latest warning here. So 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch size hail here as I watch checking on the weather report. Something that I was watching that caught my eye is the little hook out in front that's heading towards the Washington and the Glide House area. Not seeing anything that looks concerning, but that is also what we're watching. And then the storm for folks down just west of the Potosi area, we have a storm near the Rolla area in the St. James. A couple people live down there that watch the streams. So that is warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds as well. So we do have 2 storms here that we're watching here. So the latest scan is showing some weaker velocities, and about 50-mile-per-hour winds are going to be moving into the St. Charles area. So it has calmed down a little bit in the St. Charles area. All right, let me get everything pulled up here, everyone. I basically ran right inside, so I forgot to turn on my server. So we have to turn on the server real quickly, so don't mind us here. And we're just going to move the cameras around. We're going to get some cameras on 70 here. So give me just a moment. The bottom left corner is going to be on 70 here. So once again, I have to turn on the server inside our apartment. So just give me just a moment here as we get the server up and running. Okay, server is up and running. If you're just tuning in, everyone, we do have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings here. We do have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings, and the Randolph County warning for the Rolla area is going to be canceled. So that is great news. So I have to figure out why. I apologize, everyone. Still getting everything set up here. I did have an appointment, so I do apologize about that. It's a good appointment, everyone. So I had the appointment here. I'm just trying to find some cameras. None of the cameras are working on Highway 70. So if you're aware of anybody who works at MoDOT, if you can put in a service request for Highway 70, that would be nice. So we're finding the camera right now, but if you're just tuning in, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for St. Charles County and over near the Union area. So the Union, Washington area is also in a severe thunderstorm warning. We don't have any cameras over there. So let's see, is it right? Oh, it's a little bit past 370. Okay, so there's camera 1. That is going to be right in the path of this storm here. And yes, your truck is going to get wet, John. Leslie says, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody, to another live stream. I honestly did not think we were going to have to provide a live stream here today, but the thing is, yes, Wentzville is clear. Wentzville is in the warning, but Wentzville is clear, yes. I was honestly not expecting us to go live today, but these storms ran into a little bit of greater instability. Outflow boundary was sending some energy through, and you see it. We're here live covering these storms. That we have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, and honestly, everyone, The St. Charles storm does not look like it was moments ago. It does look like it's starting to weaken, but it's hitting the radar site, so it's not really scanning up into the storm, so we're not quite sure how it's actually doing, but reports on the ground are saying that it's starting to weaken somewhat. So that is great news. Now, the storm near headed towards the Washington area. Not quite sure. We haven't heard anything from the National Weather Service if they're going to issue any warnings on it, but I do see some pockets of some 40, 50 mile per hour winds here that are moving through the area. And the severe weather is not for everybody. So if you are in Warrenton, Troy, Herman, Jonesburg, Hawk Point, Winsville, and you haven't seen any rain or thunderstorms, then you'll be okay. Everything's east of you right now. Mr. Carton says, "What about North County? What's up, man? Glad that you got out there early." I think North County will be okay. I think it'll be gusty, but I would be a little bit surprised if they continue the St. Charles warning. So I'll be very surprised if they continue the St. Charles warning. We haven't seen any updates from the National Weather Service if they're gonna continue these warnings since they are on the edge of this. So we're still waiting some confirmation here if they're gonna continue the warnings. And the alert on your screen here is just showing that the warning's getting updated. The National Weather Service usually updates it. There's new hail or new wind reports. So that's all that message is that you see that pops on the screen. There's no new warning. But once again, if you're just tuning in, we do have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. One's right near St. Peter's heading into the St. Charles area, right down Highway 70. And then our other severe thunderstorm warnings headed towards Washington and Union. Washington and Union. South Central St. Louis, South Central St. Louis County. It looks like there's a low chance right now. It's kind of hard if these storms are going to continue their strength. We're not really talking long track severe weather here. So at the moment, I think maybe, but I see this outflow boundary to the southeast. It may destroy these storms as it's pushing cooler air, but we'll have to take a look. So there is a possibility, but in the short term, not right now. Jeffco, it's possible this storm that's heading towards the Union can stay together. We'll have to watch the Jeffco here about next probably half hour. Renee says starting to thunder here in St. Charles and a little windy. Yeah, it's getting ready to enter St. Charles here. So I'm gonna change the camera. We're gonna storm chase with the left camera here. And my new program that I have made makes it very easy now. So let's see if we can get it. All the cameras are turned every which direction, except facing at the storm. Okay, here we go. Look at, oh, well, we just missed it here. So here is the storm that's coming in the St. Charles County here, looking from Fifi here. So there's storm. You can see all those clouds, those nasty clouds there. So let's see. So basically, they're trying to figure out if it's necessary. So the warning for the St. Charles County storm does not look like it's going to get extended. The storm near the Union, they're currently deciding right now. That's why there has been no new severe thunderstorm warning. National Weather Service is still considering a warning, but they're trying to analyze the trends before they do. So that is your current update. So we're unsure about the storm going into Washington and Union, but there's little to no chance the St. Charles storm is okay. And there they go. They just issued the new warning here. So I guess they still expect that the warning headed towards Union and Pacific, right on the Jefferson County line, is still going to have some gusty winds. But good thing, we are not talking about any tornado threat. No tornado threat, but I do eventually think this outflow boundary coming from the southwest here is really gonna shut down the severe event. So basically how fast it gets here, because it's starting to move this way, and storms really don't like it. So, because basically the outflow boundary is pushing cold air. Storms like the hot, humid air. So looks like currently we're probably just about to have one severe thunderstorm warning. This one down near the Raleigh area is most likely about to expire. But this storm going into the Union area that just popped up here, let's take a look at the details. So let's take a look at the details here. Let me get the pen off of here. Also, we're going to show you some video. Stick around about a couple minutes. We're going to show you some video that has been sent in from one of you, our viewers, from the Wentzville area. So this new warning here, let's take a look. It is for 60-mile-per-hour winds, radar indicated, and small hail that would be possible. It's over Owensville, headed towards Sullivan's and the Pathgray Summit, St. Clair, Villa Ridge, Union, and if you're on the Highway 44, exits between 225, which is the Sullivan exit, and 257. So that is what we're looking at here. And if you guys were watching closely, the storm was on the Sullivan camera that was down at the bottom middle part of the screen. And let's take a look. We're going to switch the Sullivan camera. We're going to try to move it up here. See what each camera looks like. And of course, all of them are facing east. So we'll put it at we'll put it at 4450 here. Yeah, this storm in St. Louis County, I'm not quite sure if this is going to stay. It has really fell apart here. But we will see some heavy rain thunderstorms with this as well. And remember, this is still scattered. Not everybody's going to see rain or severe weather. So it's okay, everyone. Appreciate the follows on the stream, and make sure we share the live stream. Even though we have a low and severe weather event, we just want to make sure everyone that's driving home this evening is aware of what's going on. But the main situation is along Highway 44 between Pacific and Sullivan. That is the main area that we're watching here, everyone. Yeah, and the National Weather Service just put out, the National Weather Service has just put out, everyone, that it's probably not going to make it to Jefferson County. It is probably most likely going to get to the end of the warning and this die off. So, like I said, we weren't really expecting much. And here's that camera here at 70 at Fifi. So there's 70 at Fifi. There's that storm that's rolling, and it doesn't really look like much anymore. See a little bit of the sun popping out through there, through the middle part. Real quickly, want to show you guys these videos that we have. This is from Ashley. This was in Wentzville while we were at our appointment here. And you can see, look at those clouds. This is very good video. We need to get a camera over at Ashley's house because this is just always has the great views here. So there's another look. That is what the gust front is, where it packs all the wind in there. That is what it looks like when we say gust front outflow boundaries. That is what they look like here. And all the rain and everything's behind it. And every once in a while, when you get these type of things too, you can always get a quick spin up that likes to drop down as well. And I think we got one more video. Yeah, and then there's a still image right there. So very, very nice video of that storm that was moving in a little bit earlier. And I do apologize that we weren't on here a little bit earlier. I did have an appointment that I was needing to be at. What's in the cup? Currently, it's just water. Currently, ice cold water. Starting to thunder in Ferguson. Yeah, it's headed towards that way, but I think you'll be okay. Still picking up some gusty winds right along 370. Let's change. We're gonna change. We're gonna see if this works, everyone. Like I said, this is really the first time that we're testing it out. So let's take a look. Yeah, look at that. Here we go. And it doesn't work. Okay, well, we found that out. Let's see. Hey, everyone, put L's in the chat for the camera not working. Why is it? Oh, because I'm in the wrong slot. Okay, sorry, that was my fault. Yeah, here's the camera here. Had to put it in slot 2, sorry. There is the gusty winds that we're seeing right along 370. Nothing, not really technically severe, but it's in the warning. But there is that storm there. There is the storm moving in. So very nice view of the storm right now. Just check in to see if we have a couple reports. But there is that storm moving in. Really, not really seeing anything, but it is looking interesting that the storm out here is doing a little bit of a hook here. So you can see the camera in the bottom. Well, they're both the same now. But you can watch the storm down there. At the bottom left-hand camera. The middle part camera, we're going to switch over to Highway 44 at 50. So we can check on that severe thunderstorm warning that's about to move through right now. So we're going to be paying attention to this camera right here in just a few moments' time. We do have a couple thunderstorms that are popping up in front of it, headed towards over to Bryan's Mill, to south of Eureka. That might limit that severe weather potential back there. But currently everything is looking okay. Not seeing anything too crazy. We did get a report that had some tree damage, but other than that, everything is staying okay. Everything is staying okay. And we're not seeing any reports, let's see what this is right here. So about 30 minutes ago, someone seen a wall cloud. So when it comes to the spotter network, you always gotta take it with a grain of salt because anybody can submit a report or get approved. So sometimes those reports have to be taken lightly. So let's take a look at the 44 at 50, the Union camera. That takes you into the Union area and eventually Washington if you want to go that far. And you can see headlights are on. It is dark as this severe thunderstorm warning is making its way through currently right now. Okay, so we're getting multiple reports of power lines down in the Union area. So Catawissa is next one in line. Merrimack Terrace is also on the path. Gray Summit and Pacific area. You need to make sure you're starting to make your way inside and away from windows. This St. Louis County storm, I think it could be dropped at this point. Let me show you the radar here. So we're getting reports multiple lines down in the Union, New Haven area. So National Weather Service also just put out an update. Now we are in contact with the National Weather Service with their updates. And this is almost what you see is what you get. So they're not really expecting anything more crazier than what we see now. So that is good news. And we're kind of seeing that trend here. If you were to ask me and I give you an honest answer, I do not think this Union storm is going to last very long, at least the severity of it. I think it's still going to have gusty winds, but I don't think the severe thunderstorm warning is going to make it. I'll be surprised if it makes it to about Hillsboro, Festus, Arnold area. Because it's slowly losing its strength here. Oh, hey, Adam, glad to see you. Oh, you're in Union now. Yeah, we just got power lines down in the New Haven area. Have you lost power? Yeah, so you can see it's coming through now here at the 4450 Union camera. You can see the hazard lights are on, which indicates some heavy rainfall. Radar presentation is not looking too crazy at the moment, but it's always great when you guys let us know in the chat how your current location is so we can relay that to the National Weather Service and make sure that we continue to get proper warning on these. So there's that storm coming into the Union area. And let me see if I can switch these. Yeah, you can see there's the back side. There's the far side of the storm on the Sullivan camera. But let's get back to that other camera here. So once again, that's at the Union exit. So Highway 50, you get off there. This is facing east, so you'll get off. That's the exit to go west on Highway 50 right there. And it's pretty heavy right now. And like I said, we weren't really expecting much, but the storms did manage to find some. Oh, you're at work. Oh, okay. And no, you didn't lose power. Okay. It'll be nice if we lost power at work. But I think jobs always have a backup plan. There's always a backup plan. Yeah, National Weather Service not really expecting this storm to do much, but there is still some pockets of up to 40, 45 mile per hour winds here. So I'm looking at the velocities at the bottom left hand of your screen here. Yeah, I wouldn't leave in this right now. It's almost done. It's almost done. There is this so you guys are aware, there is a hook looking thing on the radar. We are monitoring this, but currently we're not seeing any indications of rotation. Right now, still just looks like gusty winds. But check out this view here. Let's see if we can turn on camera 1. Yeah, look at that view there. This is on the southern side of the storm here. Moving into the Sullivan area, so you can see the camera rocking by baby right here. So pretty cool images coming out of the storm. Yeah, some heavy rain, but the camera is not quite sure how securely mounted it is, but it's holding up just fine. But it does look like there's heavy rain, so make sure you're taking it slow. Take it slow, but look at the Sullivan camera, everyone. I'm going to check the velocities here on this storm. Make sure nothing's going crazy. It is trying to hook here. It looks interesting, but not interesting at the same time. So we have the cameras at the bottom part of the screen so you can monitor them. Going to check something here. Hey, I've been there before, Adam. Here's a video from Adam. This is just a little bit behind the storm here, but it's a really good video here. So this is over in the Union area. Adam sent this in, one of our followers here on the Facebook page. So very nice view. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. No, it just zooms out. And it looks like we are getting multiple. Okay. I really enjoy when you guys. Oh, wow. From. Oh, the Loves at Earth City. Teresa, are you a truck driver? Said I can't watch your live and won't play for me. Hey, Teresa. Oh, well. Can you tell her to check the YouTube stream? Teresa is saying she can't see it. So here's a view from the Earth City. This was moments ago. Look at this view. There's another view of that storm that is currently not severe anymore, but really nice view. This is from the Loves and Earth City. So let me not check that. Yeah. So I appreciate when you guys send in all these pictures. I really do appreciate it. It really lets me know what's going on with these storms. And if you know anybody in the Pacific or Great Summit that can safely take a picture, I would love to see if there's any lowerings or anything with this hook that's on the radar, but I don't think it's much here. Okay. Let me check the chat here. Okay. So, if you guys are curious, you guys are probably not curious, but I made a server and I have to switch different tabs and I don't have my other two screens on, so I apologize if I read the comments late. Yeah, I appreciate the video or the photo, and I appreciate the video, Teresa. I didn't know you're a truck driver. That's pretty cool. But yeah, very cool photos. I appreciate you guys sending in the photos. We like to send them over to the National Weather Service because they don't really have much visual on these storms, but they can take a good look to see what they're doing. Because sometimes, or most of the time, the radar doesn't update every minute. So there's a lot of times in those gaps, especially during tornado warnings, that the tornado could have dropped, but the radar is still spinning around and uploading data, and it could already lift it, and now, So every time we have photos, we can immediately send those in, get proper warnings, and make sure the National Weather Service is staying up to date. So I appreciate all the videos. Oh, your boyfriend's a truck driver for Hogan. I always had this crazy ideals. Like, what if we had, like, during severe weather, what if we had, like, certain truck driver, like, dash cam feeds that we could hop into and, like, to see what's going on the highway? That would be pretty cool. Not quite sure how we would get to that point, but that would be something cool to have. So, if you're just tuning in, we'll take a overview. Let's take a look at our overview of what's happening on the radar here. If you're just tuning in here, we mainly just have one severe thunderstorm warning, everybody. Everything else has popped up, did its thing, and it's like, you know what? I'm good for the evening, and just went bye-bye. But the only thing that we're worried about here is the Union, right now, Pacific, the Grubville, Cedar Hill Lakes, and the Wildwood area. I'm not quite sure if there's anything over in the Earth City area, but for future storms, that'll be very helpful, Teresa. So looks like tree damage was reported. So the tree damage was coming out of Warrenton, where these storms first started being severe. This storm over here has been, I think, started over in the Herman area when I was at my appointment. But overall, these storms are not expected to continue to strengthen. So, oh, check camera one. Okay, I was just informed to check camera one. Oh, wow, look at this right here at the Sullivan camera. This is the storm moving in. This is what was coming into the Union area, but it hasn't quite made it to the Sullivan. If you know anybody from the Sullivan video, I mean, not the the Sullivan area, you might want to show them the stream and tell them to get inside. Wow, look at the camera. It is getting windy out there. It isn't a severe thunderstorm warning. But take a look, everyone. Like I say, if you know anybody in the Sullivan area, get back inside, please. We don't need a video right now. We want a video of you inside. Inside, away from windows, okay? I did get your... I need you to send it on Messenger, Mom. Yeah, look at this. We're gonna keep this on the Sullivan camera for the time being right now. This storm is not wanting to give up at all. It's holding. Yeah, send it on the yeah, Messenger, and then we'll get you up here. I can pull it up on my computer, but it'll show everybody the conversation, so it's easier to do on Messenger. Yeah, look at this Sullivan camera. We're just gonna keep it here just for a moment. Well, we'll go back to radar here so you can see what's happening. So we have a little bit of outflow coming from the storm. So cool air is coming out of the storm here. So we'll see how that works out, but take a look at this right now. This exit is at the Pilot. That's the sign that you see out there in the distance. It's a Pilot and a Denny's. Highly encourage you to go check it out and stay safe. Get yourself a burger on me. Send me the receipt. And I'll gladly pay for it because you are staying safe inside, away from windows. Not actually. But you get the point. Just be inside. Okay, you sent it. We have one person watching on YouTube. Appreciate that. Okay. So this was over in the St. Charles area from our tower cam. And this was what was left moving into St. Louis County, the North St. Louis County. This was as it was falling apart. And you can see the sun out there in the distance too. So, very nice photo. Let's take a look back at the Sullivan camera. Let's check on them. Like I said, Sullivan still stay inside, away from windows. But everyone in St. Louis County right now is okay. Hey everyone, new severe thunderstorm warning. New severe thunderstorm warning, everyone. Take a look here. This goes until about 6 p.m. No, that does not, no. There we go, 6:45. So, new severe thunderstorm warning, if we can post that, please, for our Crawford, Jefferson, and Washington counties until 6:45. So, like I said, this storm, we were expecting it to weaken, but it has other plans currently. And we just seen it on the Sullivan cameras. So I'm not surprised that we are seeing this warning continue, but it's only warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds and about penny-sized hail, so not really seeing much hail with this. So if you're just tuning in, new severe thunderstorm warning that covers a good chunk of our area. Cedar Hills, Hillsborough, DeSoto, Festus, Peevely, Imperial, Arnold is out of this one. Somerset, and the Cedar Hill Lakes area, if I have not said that already, for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Potosi, the county is in it, but you are north of it. You are north of the warning right now. Hello, Amy. Glad to see you. Welcome back. Welcome back to the stream. Yeah, and here's the rain. Here's the aftermath of all that gusty wind action. So you can see lightning, thunder, rain, gusty winds, all possible as it moves into the Hillsborough area. So they did issue the warning, but they're just concerned. Oh, wow, look at this camera. Immediately picked up in wind. Wow, look at this view as it's moving in. This is going into the Sullivan camera. Oh my goodness. This is wild. This is a hurricane that's moving through. Yeah, Sullivan, yeah, like I said, you should have been at the Denny's moments ago. This is not looking good, folks. Wow, this is crazy. Yeah, I agree that we should keep the warning in place. So you guys just saw it firsthand, folks. Fletcher, Hillsborough, Cedar Hills, Scottsdale, Peevely, Festus. It's all in the path of these storms right here. So we're just talking about the southern part of our coverage area, everyone. But the outflow boundary is coming out with this storm, so hopefully that limits the severity and calms it down a little bit. And I think we may have lost the Sullivan camera. Looks like we have a power outage in the Sullivan area. Looks like the camera has gone out, unfortunately. Well, we'll see if it can come back. I think the Union camera. We just got reports of trees and power lines down in the St. Clair area. Yeah, so we lost the Union camera. Union went down. St. Clair is still up there, so we'll put St. Clair in slot 2. Sullivan went down. So like I said, folks, we need to be inside away from windows if you're in Jefferson County. It's not a recommendation. You need to be inside away from windows. So we're just going to get slot 1 here at the bottom left-hand corner. We're going to get that downstream and set up here. Currently nothing's happening, but we're going to get it ready. Just in case if it was to make it here. So we're setting up camera 1 right at the Festus exit. They turned the camera around. It's right at Route A, I believe, so. But let's hope this outflow boundary that's coming through. You see this line right here? Let me circle it so you can see. So you see this area right here. That's cool air coming out of the storm. Normally, 9 out of 10 times, storms start to weaken with that. So we'll see what it does. It's not a guarantee, but we'll see. But we need to be watching Jefferson County, please. Columbia, Illinois currently is looking okay. Columbia is, I think this storm will pass to the south, Amy. Yeah, and Peevely, you might want to just let them know. Teresa, you might want to just let them know. I don't have any, confidence that it'll make it there, but let's make sure. Hello, Lisa. Glad to see you. Wood River, I think, will be okay. I think you'll probably get a little bit of rain. If not, it's not a widespread event, so But Wood River, probably just seen a little bit of light rain, but I'm not expecting any heavy thunderstorms. I apologize about that. So this is more of a scattered, isolated event, not widespread severe weather. So I think you'll be okay. So Wood River, not too concerned about Wood River. So the main area that we're watching the storm over in here in the Rolla area. But we're seeing how this storm that just passed through Union and Sullivan causing multiple power outages, how it's going to handle over to Jefferson County. Okay, that's good, Teresa. Yeah, let's make sure she's aware. Even if it doesn't hold together, let's just let her know that storms are coming. And make sure you share the stream, too. Lisa says you're welcome. Oh, well, Lisa says thank you. You're welcome. Barnhart is in severe thunderstorm. No, I think you guys are a little bit north of it. I think Barnhart is maybe at the tip of the warning or in the warning. Yeah, it's in the warning. But I think Gracie, that most of it is going to go to your south. But there is a thunderstorm that's just to the west of you. That's not severe. That's just to the west. But the main bulk of the severe weather is kind of going towards the southeast, so I don't think you're going to see much. Yeah, she has a 6-month-old, so I always tell her when you mention Peevely. Oh, okay, that's great. I appreciate you letting people know that we provide coverage here. Yeah, still seeing 47 mile per hour winds with this storm here. So it's going to be gusty, it's going to be loud, but I think everyone's going to be okay. It's really just the Hillsborough, Fletcher, and maybe DeSoto that really has to watch out here. But with the outflow boundary, normally the outflow boundary likes to limit the severity. So we're monitoring that to see how that works out. But I do appreciate all the photos that have been sent. And if you have any photos, make sure you send them in to the Facebook page. I'd love to see them. And we encourage you to send them in to the National Weather Service so they're able to see what's going on. Because a lot of times when they issue these warnings, they watch storm chasers, they look at viewer photos. If you call into your 911 center and report damage, that all helps them know how strong this event is. So just make sure if you ever have any damage or anything, you're letting us know, letting the National Weather Service know, or your local emergency management, so we can send that information to the National Weather Service. But yeah, like I said, I wasn't really expecting anything too crazy with this. But it looks like we have some power outage. Dawn said, oh, you just shared as well? I appreciate that, Teresa. Dawn said, thanks again, Kenny, for the reliable coverage. Oh, yes. We always try to be here whenever we do have severe weather. I just don't see it necessary or any point of posting updates every few minutes, making you guys read a paragraph. I just don't see how that is, how it should be when it matters most, when minutes matters most. So we're always here when we can to provide live severe weather coverage. And we're in the testing phase of our 24/7 live severe weather coverage thing, doing some beta testing and whatnot, and we hopefully should have that going soon. Of course, we'll let you guys know as well when that happens. So yes, appreciate you and your team so much for all you do. Yes, you guys don't see it, but we have multiple people behind the scenes. We have my girlfriend, we have my dad monitoring warnings when I'm busy or working my day job. We have our severe weather analyst, Mr. Oglesby, that is behind the scenes constantly monitoring radar, looking at weather models and stuff like that. So, like I said, we're always covered here. We're always covered here. We're always watching. And we're always making sure we're staying on top of things to keep you guys updated. As Dawn says, can't wait. Yeah, we're still doing testing. We have all the graphics and everything made for it and all the warnings and everything like that. Just have to do some PC, like computer things, make sure the computer's good. But after that, then we'll run it consistently until, if you guys know, if you know, you know, until you get a Windows update. So, hey everyone, you guys want some good news? This storm is falling apart. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. This storm is still gusty, but it's not holding up well. Teresa says, when will your girlfriend come on again and show her beautiful face again? You know, we're working on that. So instead of swapping the screens, I just hit a button and it like pops in, pops out. But fortunately, not today. But normally, I would anticipate any long streams, the longer streams, she'll probably have to come on because I'll have to use the restroom. Let's angle the camera down a little bit. Also, I got this new chair for my birthday. And my parents got it for me for my birthday. Pretty cool present. Side note, that doesn't matter, but it's comfortable. But yeah, Teresa, probably the longer streams you'll probably see her often. So let's not hope that we have severe weather coverage and long streams. Let's not hope that. Because I always tell people that I see regularly that follow the weather page, I say, if you don't see me, that's good news. If you see me, it's bad news. So if you ever see me live, you kind of want to check in. And if you don't see me during certain situations or I haven't posted about it, then it usually means that we're doing okay. So that's usually like one good rule of thumb to know. If you see me, you might want to check in. If you don't, then you should be okay. So let's take a look at the winds. National Weather Service is still seeing 60-mile-per-hour winds. Not quite sure where. Oh yeah, I know what you mean, Teresa. I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm not, the National Weather Service is seeing 60-mile-per-hour winds. I'm not seeing anything 60, unless it's out in the front here. Yeah, not seeing anything crazy. But it's certainly gusty. I would tell you guys that. It sure is gusty out there. Once again, real quickly, if you're just tuning in, we do have severe thunderstorm warning for the Hillsboro Festus. Wouldn't be surprised if it gets issued a little bit far south if it was to stay together. Ida. Hello, Ida. Long time no see. So we just got hammered here in Robertsville, and the wind and rain is still kind of heavy right now. Yeah, you're starting to wrap it up over there. Starting to move to your southeast a little bit. Did you receive any power outages or any damage over there in Robertsville? Teresa says, I'm always looking for your live stream when the weather is bad. I appreciate that. I always wonder, like, during severe weather, I'm like, do people think, like, oh, I need to check Team Kenny weather? I think it's pretty cool. Hey, sometimes I even check my page, make sure I post the update, so I always check too. I enjoy doing this, like, I enjoy giving you guys honest, real-time, reliable updates, free of charge. Because you guys sent me a couple messages where there's a couple streams that I only read when you donate, so we will never get to that point or ever do that. We always read every comment that we can. Teresa said, I check your page often, just so I'm aware. Oh, well, I appreciate that. Yes, we try to post not a lot of updates to blow up your feed, but just enough that you're aware of the situation, what's going on. Missy says, you do a fantastic job. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of the time is going in. I don't know if you guys heard, but we're doing the official weather for the Parkway North Marching Band. So we do the official weather for the Parkway North Marching Band, my old high school. So we do all the weather forecasts and stuff like that. And there's an event coming up where we're doing like a little promotion thing. So it's pretty cool. Dawn says, I hope Facebook pays you something. Actually, to be 100% honest with you, I make nothing off of this weather page. And that's how I want it to be. You know, I don't make anything, and that is not why I did this weather page for revenue. I did the weather page to be here, sitting in front of your face, to bring you the most reliable coverage that you can. So, yeah, Facebook doesn't pay me anything, and, I don't really mind it because that is not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for you, to be here for you, and all this setup has been paid out of my own pocket and stuff like that. So, like I said, we do this to keep you guys safe, informed, and someone that you can trust when it matters most. So, if we were doing it for the money, every 5 seconds I was like, if you like to donate, or thank you for, we don't want to do that. Teresa says, I would rather watch you than Chris Higgins. He didn't give us info to where we can understand it the way you do. Oh, well, I really do appreciate that. That's a very nice comment. Yeah. Don says, well, we definitely appreciate it. Oh yeah, you're welcome. Okay. Yeah. We don't make any money off of this. We do have a sponsor, and that helps to cover the radar programs and stuff like that. So that's very nice. But no money will ever be needed from you guys. We won't ever be that weather page. That's why we took off the, on Facebook it does the subscriber thing. We took that off because there's, save your money, okay? Use it at McDonald's, use it out to eat for your significant other, and we'll always be here for free. Always here for free anytime you need it. I appreciate that. Teresa, hello Tony, glad to see you. It's been a while. How's everything been? Cheryl says, hello from Alton, Kenny. It just went through here, but it was mild. Yeah, just some light rain. It was some severe storms, just a little bit off to the west, but it unfortunately did not make it. Or we should say, fortunately, it did not make it, not unfortunately. So the new warning here did get trimmed a little bit, and the National Weather Service is showing us their geometry degree. So you can see the new warning. If we take off the radar, you can see their new warning. They condensed it here. So that is the new warning here. So it has trimmed off the northern part of Jefferson County here. So that is the new warning here. Yeah, so the National Weather Service has just updated and said this outflow boundary is helping the storm right now. Don says the people that do the weather simply because they love weather are the best. Yes, I love weather. I have always loved weather. The only reason I haven't started my weather page sooner, to be honest with you guys, is I didn't think anybody would ever be interested in weather. So, and then finally, my girlfriend just made me the page and was like, here's your login, and it's all set up. Just do it. So, and here we are. So. But yeah, I have always loved weather. I just love how there's always something new. You can always look up. There's clouds to look at and stuff like that. So I've always been crazy about weather. The two things, if you don't know me, is I love weather and I love being a enthusiast on cruise ships, towboats, that stuff. So those are like the two things I like the most and research the most. Tony said we had to get new roofs because of 2 hailstorms. Oh, yeah, the roofing companies were very busy this summer after all those storms that we have had. But luckily, I have escaped any hail damage this year. So I know a couple of people that I know closely had some hail, but knock on wood, I do not have any wood. But if you have any wood nearby, knock on it for me and for yourself if you have not received any hail damage this year. Hail or tree damage. We still have a little bit to go, but that's about, not too long that we have left. Still showing some gusty winds inside this storm, but we're starting to look up higher into the atmosphere. The further south we go, you knocked, thanks. The further we go up in the atmosphere, the less that we can, or the further the storms go south, the less that we can see what's actually happening at the surface. I'm just going to look at the latest guidance just to see what's down the road. So, looks like maybe we'll show you in just a second, but it looks like we may have some pop up. These models are really just, when it comes to these summertime patterns, they're really just garbage, to be honest with you. That's why, like, if you were curious why there's not a lot of Tomorrowcast videos, it's because the video will be insanely long trying to, average the models out, like show you both and talk about both. So that's why we just do. When I post the radar screen or the feature cast, I mainly just post the one that's close to what I'm thinking, if you're curious. So, but yeah, once again, we're still seeing some gusty winds. It's heading into the DeSoto, Hillsborough, Somerset area. Peevely will be fine. Imperial's getting a storm right now, but not seeing anything crazy right now. Looks like we're about to get an update from the National Weather Service here any moment. And in the St. Louis County area, not much has happened. It got dark, but that's about it. So, but if you're just tuning in, wondering how the weather is going, if you're in southern Jefferson County or Crawford County, you're still in the hunt. You're still on deck. It's weakening, but we'll continue to see how it moves. But if you're not in those areas, you guys are okay. Yeah, John, it's just to your west. Just to the southwest, over Antonia. I don't think, according to the radar here, it's really not moving. But it's just hanging out to your southwest. So let's check your ring camera. It may have asked if it can go that direction and provide some water for your lawn. So just check. You guys always send me messages how, like, during times of like severe weather and like severe anxiety, how much I calm down and stuff like that. Like I said, unless there's like tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, unless it's like severe, there's no reason like to overhype the situation or scare you or try to say it's going a certain direction when it's not to keep you for the views. I just don't see why people do that. Oh, you're over by the Second High School? Yeah, it's close. Okay, so the National Weather Service is going to issue a downstream warning only so they can analyze the situation. They don't feel too confident that they should let it expire. So it says the downstream warning will allow us to monitor the trends, but may also be the last one we need. Excuse me. The last one we need because it's reaching its peak and it'll start to weaken. So just about one more warning. It may decide to click the Potosi area. Not quite sure yet. But They think the velocities are just on a jump, and you can see at least a little bit. So, wouldn't be surprised here Potosi gets in a warning here. But it'll probably include the Bloomsdale and places over there, but the outflow is slowly doing its job. So yeah, they said the core looks like it has dropped out while velocities has increased a bit. The downstream warning will allow us to monitor the trends, but may also be the last one we need on this storm, as all of these are indicators, and it has reached its peak. And there you go. So they did include the Potosi area with this. I know we have a few people. I'm not sure that they're in the chat right now. But new severe thunderstorm warning for St. Francis, St. Genevieve, and Washington, Missouri. Oh, Potosi is in Washington, I think. I always forget when we get down there. Yeah, it looks like it's just gonna stay just to your south. You may get some light rain. You know, John, I'm not sure if you're still in here, but let's go change that camera down there. Let's go change the camera by you. See what's actually over there. They're looking north. I wish we had one looking south. Yeah, so just to your south, at the next exit is where it's at. So you can see at the bottom part of your screen here. And I think that's at Route M, I think. So. And if you have any pictures or videos, make sure to send them into the Facebook page. We would love to see them. Also appreciate all the new followers. Looks like we had three new followers here. So I do appreciate that. We're slowly growing our southern people down here. Our southern coverage area. We're slowly getting our population up down here. So, new thunderstorm warning if you're just checking in for the Potosi, Park Hills, Farmington, Bloomsdale. Festus is still considered in the warning. At least the south side of the town is. But I think it's going to probably clip Festus barely. But the main damaging winds are moving into the DeSoto area, Somerset, and the Potosi. Near Happy Hollow, Madden Rich Woods. It's over Cruz Mill, Rabbitville right now. I think it's going to hit DeSoto, but it's going to most likely say hi to Potosi. So if you know anybody in Potosi, or if you know our followers now in Potosi, you might want to let them know that some gusty winds are coming through. Nothing severe, just 60-mile-per-hour winds, but it could take out some power. It could take out power, and unfortunately, I hope nobody loses power, because remember the cooldown I was talking about in my weather video the other day? Well, that is non-existent anymore. I just don't think it's going to happen. It was promising, but at the same time, nothing happened. I don't think any cooldown is going to happen. So, sorry to break it to you. Yeah, velocities are going through the roof right now. Not quite sure if we're seeing 67-mile-per-hour winds, but look how bright this is. So I think it's safe to say that they kept the warning here. Because it looks like the winds definitely increased. The winds have definitely increased here. So just checking in a few things. Yeah, it's just right to your south. So may clip a little bit. So yeah, so the National Weather Service is looking at this. You see this? these high colors here, that's about 60 miles per hour, and they just put out an update. It's about 60 knots at 3,000 feet, and some of the strongest we've seen, which it is true. This is the strongest that we have seen. So, yeah, I wish we had a camera down here. So if you know anybody that lives near the Cruise Mill, Rabbittville, Madden Ridge Woods, Tiff, Cadet, Happy Hollow, or anywhere along 21 that runs through Rabbittville all the way down to Potosi, if you know anybody that's down there that could send us a video of what's happening, I really do appreciate it. But the warning is slowly pushing out of our coverage area here. It's at the southern edge. Sorry about that. Just eating some dinner here. So, yeah, we're still monitoring the storm down near the Potosi area. Good thing is we're not seeing a lot of reports besides the Union area earlier, so that is always a great sign. Yeah, I'm not seeing any new updates, so which is good. Not seeing any new updates. Not any updates related to damage. But I know we have a couple people in Potosi area. Hopefully they're aware of the situation, what's going on here. But the northern half looks okay. It's just the south side that's headed into Potosi and Bonne Terre. Bonne Terre and Potosi is what we're watching here. Everywhere behind it is looking okay. So unless you're in our southern counties, DeSoto, Valsmine, Platten, Festus, you could just check in just to make sure you're doing okay. Bonne Terre, Bloomsdale. If you're not in those areas, you guys are okay for the evening. So, but if you guys are, then I would recommend staying in the live stream. But so far, this all we have. It is weakening on the reflectivity, but the winds are still surging. So still seeing up to 60-mile-per-hour winds here. I wish, like I said, I wish we did have a camera down here. It'd be very nice. But you can take a look at our camera wall here. This is all the highways, mostly around St. Louis County and the surrounding area. So you see traffic is moving quite nice, not really seeing any rain or anything. And that's how it should remain for the rest of the evening. So but the main area that we're watching is our few folks that are down here in the south. We're just making sure they're okay. Yeah, the wind is still surging with this storm. It actually has picked up a little bit. Festus, you'll see some rain a little bit, but I think that's about it. It's mainly right here along Highway 47. Yeah, and we can't show it, but I did just get a nice view of what it looks like in Washington County, and it is exactly what's happening. Very strong winds moving through. Our main coverage area is okay, but if you're in the Potosi area, it's going to get a little bit gusty, but let's hope it stays just to the east of downtown Potosi. So we just got a report coming out of Sullivan area that the main power lines have been knocked down, which we did see that live happening on their live stream. And if you're just tuned in, I would go back and watch it after we wrap up. It got crazy. And why we have a second? Let's check the power outages. Not quite sure if Sullivan uses Ameren, but let me just see. So about 9,000 customers are without power. Does not look like Sullivan is in that. So, but a lot of them from the Union St. Clair area. Union St. Clair area looks to be like the main, yeah. And we're getting major power outages over the storm right now, so still producing gusty winds. Yeah, and it's still surging. Just north of Potosi right now. Just north of Potosi is where we're seeing these gusty winds. Just taking a look here to see if there's any reports that are coming through. So, still watching these gusty winds that are pushing through. Most likely after it goes past the Potosi area, we'll probably wrap up the live stream here. But we still have our severe thunderstorm warning in effect. Looks like there's a couple down in Springfield here, so. But everywhere else is fine. We're just checking out the Potosi area, make sure it's staying okay. But as it heads down near the Park Hills, Bloomsdale, we'll probably wrap it up here. Yeah, still getting gusty. Looks like it's just barely missing the Potosi area. But it's headed right towards Bonne Terre and Park Hills. Bonne Terre and Park Hills are the next ones up the bat. So, not seeing anything new for the National Weather Service, but I think the warning is perfect. I'm glad they continued it. Yeah, it looks like everywhere doing just fine here. I'm just gonna check on a couple things here. Appreciate all the follows. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, the severe thunderstorm warning for Jefferson County is really for the southwest side. Southwest side of things is really where we're watching here. The southwest side mainly between about Potosi and DeSoto is where we're seeing the heavy winds right now. And it's moving to the southeast. So, Festus, Imperial, Arnold, not really expected to see anything. But could get some, a few gusty winds from the outside of it. But other than that, there's really not much else to that. So it looks like we just got new radar update. Looks like it's pushing east of Potosi right now. Looking like it's moving to the east side. Yeah, looks still got the severe thunderstorm warning in place. You know, we don't really actively cover once we get near the Park Hills Farmington area, but I would not be surprised with how the storm has been behaving if they decide to issue a new warning past that. But you know, we're starting to get, you know, we didn't really get too much instability, but it looks like it's still holding. Reason why the St. Louis County storm fell apart is because we really didn't have any energy. It was just a couple pockets in the atmosphere where it was a little bit juicy, and they found it, so it got severe. But you can see once it got close to the St. Louis area, St. Charles County area, we said, okay, I'm done. So, but this one is still running. So this got a report from Irondale that it said it was wild and woolly. Wooly. So said it was pretty gusty and hard rain near Potosi. Yeah. It's heavy rain still ongoing right now. But it looks like still gusty. They have this still warned only for about 60-mile-per-hour winds, which is what we're seeing. But it looks like it's, you know, the radar doesn't update every minute. Still waiting for the new radar update, but I assume most of the gusty winds have now passed Potosi. Sorry, everyone. Just have some pizza here. So, because I have not eaten all day, I was doing some activities. Then I had an appointment. So, very busy today. Yeah, it looks like these winds are moving off towards the Bonne Terre area. So, I think the rain will probably still be around a little bit down there, Sandy, but it's moving slowly off to the south and east out of your area. So I think the wind should be calming down shortly as it moves towards Bonne Terre. Yeah, lots of power outages are being reported, especially, yeah, right over Terre du Lac, if I'm not pronounced. 890 people are without power, so it's right where it's going through right now. Seems like it just took out the whole town. So hopefully you still have power down there, Sandy, if you're watching. Because it looks like a couple towns over are not doing so good. But it's moving through Bonne Terre, so I do expect that power outage will continue to be coming in. But up in Jefferson County area, I think it's starting to move out of the area to gusty winds. Oh, well, that's great. That's great, yeah, because not quite sure. Not quite sure, Sandy, but it's over near Terre du Lac. Like just west of Bonne Terre, it's like between, you probably know where it is, like Highway 8 and Highway 47. Like between there. 890 people without power, and I assume that's the population of that area. So, and I'm actually going to look it up just for. So, okay, so it has about 2,516 people. So 890 of them. Well, you never know how many people are in the household. So, but let's just say a good chunk of people are without power. So I'm glad you're staying on here. About 15 minutes. Yeah, it looks like it was fairly close. Yeah, you're still gonna have rain, Sandy, and it might get a little bit loud, but I think for the most part, the severe weather is done. It's slowly moving off to the east. It'll still be a little bit gusty, but over near Bonne Terre, yeah, look at the winds. It's right over that area, so it makes 100% accurate why we have the power outage. So basically, the brighter the colors on the velocity, stronger the winds. So when they go off the chart like this and they're currently not even red anymore, that's how you know it's getting pretty serious in the wind department. There's actually the radar's trying to pick up about 4,000 feet of 70-mile-per-hour winds. So it makes sense that we have all those power outages. So I wouldn't be surprised here in the next little while, next 5-10 minutes, Bonne Terre goes through. And surprisingly, looking at the power outage map, Sandy, to the south of you has power outages, to the northwest has power outages, and the north and the east. So everywhere except Potosi has a power outage issue. So you guys must have some very fresh power poles from all the tree damage from the past couple storms. So yeah, and then the storm's moving out Jefferson County towards the Bloomsdale. Not really seeing a wind threat. It's mainly towards the south of that storm, but it could still be gusty as it's going through DeSoto, Somerset area. But the main area that we're watching is near the Bonne Terre area. Yeah, let's see. I'm going to see if I can show you the map so you can see what I'm talking about. Not quite sure. Maybe a little difficult. So let's take a look. Let's take a look here. Well, okay, so here's Potosi, where I'm circling. Yeah, power outages to your south. You go up north to west, 185, there's power outage there. You go up here to Old Mine, power outage there. And then you go east towards Terre de Lac, power outage there. So, everywhere except Potosi. So, put W's in the chat for Potosi for not losing power. Because I feel very sorry for the people who have lost power because unfortunately the heat there's no relief. No relief. So yeah, still moving through Park Hills and Farmington, but that's when we start to move out of our coverage area here, so. Yeah, a lot of Rollins without power, a lot of Sullivan without power, a lot of power outages coming in. So at least on the Ameren side of things, only about 12,543 people have lost power. It's moving into Bonne Terre. So far, Bonne Terre has been holding up. Bonne Terre has been holding up. I'm watching a power outage map here on my right screen. That's what I'm looking at here. So. I think we're going to wrap up the live severe weather coverage. Their wind is moving out of our coverage area. So it's going to be going into the Park Hills, Farmington, and a lot of small towns here that are outside the coverage area. And these storms are slowly moving out of Jefferson County. They'll push into a little bit of Monroe. But for the bulk of us and Ellis Grove, I think we'll be okay here. So the warnings are going to continue the weekend, so they're not planning on issuing any downstream warnings. So I think we're going to wrap up the coverage for now. I appreciate you guys tuning in for another live severe weather coverage episode on the Facebook page. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. And for now, we'll see you next time. Take care. All right, everyone, have a great night. And we made it through another severe weather event here. And if you have power, I hope it gets restored quickly, because unfortunately, break it to you, the heat is not leaving anytime soon. But make sure you check back on the weather page for further updates on this severe weather event the rest of the night, and more updates to come throughout the week.